Welcome into this Thursday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neil McCready, Clark Ford studio. A little earlier today, around 10 o'clock, recording. Ole Miss baseball plays this afternoon around 1 after Tennessee and Mississippi State wrap up. Obviously, this will be an obsolete score here soon, but at the moment, Tennessee leading 4-0 as we were watching it here inside the studio. The Rebels losing 5-4 to Vanderbilt last night in the late game that went into the early morning after a rain delay and kind of a lengthy half inning there in the sixth. A lot of stuff going on to make that thing last well after midnight. So Ole Miss back at it early. They have to win to move on. They play the Georgia Bulldogs, and if they win, they will play the loser of Arkansas and Vanderbilt tomorrow. So we'll hit a little big picture baseball, but considering it's 10 o'clock and they play at 1, not going to get real focused on that. We'll talk some football. We'll talk some other things. We'll take your questions and more here on the show. The show brought to you every day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. You're coming to town this weekend for whatever reason. Stop on in the convenience store. Take advantage of the Speed Pass Plus app. Fill up with fuel because you earn points and save money there with the Speed Pass Plus app and all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi. You also get a lunch special on weekdays. That's $5.69 for 2 sides, bread, 32-ounce drink. There at the Oxford Exxon. Again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. No haggle, no hassle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around, or you can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guest, join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters on the Water out at Sardis is open today at 5, tomorrow at 5, and then Saturday and Sunday at 11. Frozen margaritas, daiquiris, great food, great views of the water, and all that you could hope for here as we get into summer at Rafters on the Water. And Rafters on the Square is open as well. Be a great place to watch college baseball or NBA playoffs or whatnot. Enjoy their burgers, po' boys, appetizers, great beer selection, full bar, and the whole deal there at Rafters on the Square and also in New Albany.
So, Ole Miss plays 1 o'clock today. Again, this will be going on or over by the time many of you listen to the podcast. But either way, Ole Miss is going to host a regional sometime next week, starting on Friday, and it would take several more wins, again, to get back into the national seed conversation. The interesting thing is State right now, if they do lose this baseball game, 0-2 could make their spot somewhat tenuous as they move through the week to be eligible to be stolen by someone. So just something to watch there. The loser of this game could be in a little bit of danger. But
especially if it's State.
Yeah, State has a worse resume than Tennessee from that standpoint. Some of their quad one metrics are not perfect. Yeah, there's some stuff there for the Bulldogs. It's not great. But no matter what happens with Ole Miss in Georgia last night, I wrote about it. Derek Diamond giving the Rebels one of his better starts of the year. I thought that was a good confidence boost for him. A good thought for him to take into regional play next week. Because look, whether he throws game 1 or game 2, and I know we're going to spend a lot of ink on that and everything else leading into next weekend. The goal is 2-0. The goal is not to win the first one. The goal is to win the first 2. It doesn't matter how you get to 2-0 or 1-1. You're 2-0 or 1-1, and 2-0 is the goal. So Derek needs to be good next weekend. Last night he was frankly pretty excellent. He struck out 8, walked a couple, gave up 4 hits in 5.1 innings. And the big thing for him is everybody says second time through the order, and that's true to an extent. But really, it's not getting off the field when you have an opportunity. You let the 1 run turn into 4, and you give up the big inning. And Derek's had kind of a hard time minimizing over the season. Well, last night, he gives up 2 doubles and a single in an inning. Vanderbilt only gets 1 run, and he gets out of it. That was a huge step for him, I thought, last night. I thought that was a big half inning, and he will definitely get the ball opposite whatever day Nikhazy does not throw next weekend. So that was a big deal, and then we talked about analytics and different things with Elko. He gets 2 home runs last night. That absolutely makes it worth playing Tim Elko in a baseball game. Back-to-back at-bats there. Frankly, it was going to be a lot of the story had Ole Miss held on to win, but we talk about it, limited bullpen depth, not really sure who to go to. Taylor Broadway was feeling a little tender last night. He was not available after getting a 7-out save the night before, and Mike stuck with Jack Doherty into his into his 4th inning because he got out of the 6th with Kimbrell. He throws a scoreless 7th. He scores a scoreless 8, and then gives up a lot kind of in the night as Vanderbilt comes back and walks off Ole Miss 5-4. But it just punctuates that he had Myers up, but he knows somebody's got to throw relief today. You can't burn everybody up in one game, and it shows, as we've been saying for a while, there's there's a path, but it's such the narrow path for Ole Miss to move forward in this postseason. And that's why what Derek did was a big deal, but it was also eye-opening as the game played out with Doherty having to really extend his outing last night.
Ole Miss's path is an interstate, going straight at a consistent speed. If you get off on the exit ramps and you start taking some country roads, I just don't know that they can get there.
The detour is not good for the Rebels.
And I'm on record, so I'll go further on record. Next week, I would throw Diamond on Friday night. The goal is to win the regional. There is no difference, literally no difference, between finishing second in a regional and fourth in a regional. It's the same.
If you lose the regional, not one single person's go, yeah, but they won the opener. They got the opener out of the way.
Well, there's a few people who would say it, but not many, yeah. And you either win the regional or you don't win the regional. If it's me and I'm them, I throw Diamond on Friday against a 4. He's got the stuff to do it, and he's got the stuff to get you into the 6th, 7th inning, and you hope that your offense explodes on some pitching staff that hasn't seen an offense like that. Mm-hmm. Because your path to winning Saturday, in my opinion, is the Nikhazy-Broadway combination. And then you get to Sunday and you hope that
you just out-hit somebody.
You out-hit somebody who's on their 4th starter with a depleted bullpen who played earlier in the day. That's the path.
Look, it's happened before. I could be wrong. I still expect Doug to throw day one, but we'll see.
I do too.
It's not 100%. He has altered that in the past, but I just got a feeling. Somebody said, hey, does that, I think there might be a question in the mailbag, so I'll skip ahead and talk about it now. If he says, does last night make it more likely Derek throws game one? I don't know. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I don't think that necessarily plays into it. I think Mike would make that decision one way or the other, regardless of what Derek looked like last night.
Because it doesn't matter. Someone might say, well, if you pitch him on Friday in a regional, you got to pitch him on Friday in a super regional. Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah. You're going to play 2 super regional games. The goal is to win one of them and get to a third game, or to win both of them, and however that works. So what difference does it make?
Doug's not going to get psyched out in a super regional because he's down 1-0. I mean, it's going to be all right.
Well, no, he's done that before.
Yeah, it's all right.
I mean, he did that in one of the most difficult places to go pitch.
And if you happen to win the damn thing in game one, well, suddenly you're cooking with gas. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's
hand him the ball and say, let's go.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's imperative to note that there's no difference between going 2 and out in a regional or losing on Monday night in a regional. Mm-hmm. You either win the regional or you lose the regional. So everything you do should be what is the best path to win the regional? Not win day one of the regional. There is no game. No one gets a trophy on Friday.
Yeah. Mickey Callaway put on the ineligible list, which essentially means Major League Baseball has blacklisted him.
He's done.
Yeah, that's it right there.
It's funny. It's not funny. It's the wrong word.
Yeah, that was okay.
I apologize. I just finished the morning show.
Okay.
And I'd literally finished the morning show an hour before that headline popped yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's been canceled.
Yeah.
He's done. He'll never be in Major League Baseball again.
I mean, just
unemployable. Yeah, his best bet is to go to, I don't even know, he could go there, Korea, Japan.
Japan was what was in my mind. Yeah. That's absolutely what was in my head as we're talking about it. So, anyway, that's really the baseball take. I did see that our buddy Eric Sorensen doubled down on his dumb baseball article yesterday, even on Twitter, and goes, well, I mean, the Rebels could fall out of the top 15 RPI. It's like, I don't care. I mean, really, if you would like to be an idiot in 2 places, go ahead and be an idiot in 2 places. I don't know. Apparently, it's very easy to get somewhere to write these days.
Hey, have an internet connection and a blog.
That's all you need. A lot of podcasts out there.
Yeah.
Everybody's starting podcasts.
Everybody
got a podcast about something. Look, Broadway had 7 outs on a save. just because he was tender does not mean he was hurt. I've been asked that question 98 times this morning. No, there's no that's very typical. Now,
yeah, sure.
I can't rule out that something's going on, but I mean, yeah, there was nothing about that raised an antenna last night from that standpoint. Look, they lost the game last night because they got a little unlucky a couple times. I mean, they're in the sixth. Jackson Kimbrell comes in, and Vanderbilt is stealing a base, and they dribble a ball through the 6-hole, which would have been an out had they not been stealing the base. Got a little unlucky. And then, starting the ninth, the kind of a bloop single that Graham dives for, can't come up with, started the inning there for Vanderbilt. But offensively is where they lost it. Look, Vanderbilt has great pitching. They had dudes that were throwing all sorts of crap last night.
That first kid was throwing gas, man.
Yeah, he's 17 years old.
That
17.
He has an electric arm. I hope he's okay.
They said it was just like cramps or spasms or something. Okay. He's fine. Yeah, he's all right.
That dude has stuff.
Yeah, it was some real shit.
That was real stuff. Yeah. I mean, that kid, wow. That kid was
it kind of leapt off the page a little bit when you're watching that.
It exploded.
Okay.
He threw like exploding fastballs. And he had just enough kind of swagger and stuff. I mean,
and then the next dude comes in. It's my favorite Vanderbilt thing every year. The next guy comes in. He's thrown 10 innings the entire season. Left-handed, all sorts of stuff. And he had a 0.84 ERA and an 0.59 batting average against. And I went, oh, my God. Like, seriously, what the?
Unleashes a 98-mile-an-hour heater. And you're like, whoa.
I don't know who you are today, but I will next year. That's the answer there. But look,
he will be pitching for the Indians or the Reds or somebody in 4 years.
Ole Miss was 30-0 when leading after 8 innings going into last night. Obviously 30-1 now. And then, look, they lost it, even though, like my point was, Vanderbilt pitched it really well last night. But they lost at the plate. Vanderbilt last night was 7 of 17 with runners on base and 6 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Ole Miss 1 for 11 with runners on and 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. That's what lost the baseball game last night.
Yeah, and not to defend Ole Miss because I didn't see the end of it, but I did see the first few innings, and that kid was electric.
Oh, yeah, no, look.
I mean, he was electric. Nobody was hitting that stuff. When you throw 97 and then you mix in a slider like he mixed, and then you throw a change like he did, and you're commanding the strike zone like he did, I mean, there's a reason that he was considered one of the top 5 pitchers in the country coming out of high school, and he left a year early and all that stuff. And I mean, just not to get on the whole topic,
which means he's a 3-year guy at Vanderbilt because he won't turn 21 prior to the third year of the draft.
Right, so he'll be there for.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You see more of him. Not done with him.
In case you were concerned that they won't have a weekend starter next year,
they'll find somebody.
They will. I like his chances. I mean, that dude had electric stuff.
He was worried coming off the mound last night. His body language indicated he was a little freaked out. It was something worse than it was. Yeah,
he was scared. Of course he was.
Yeah. He
thought he saw his entire next season gone.
Yeah.
I was glad he's okay. He seems like a perfectly good kid. I mean, he was intense.
For Tennessee, rocking the spectacles today.
That's pretty nasty right there.
They got a little bit of like a Ricky Vaughn vibe, kind of thick black rim glasses. Yeah. Sort of going on.
They got screwed yesterday.
It clashes with the orange, though. I don't know. Doesn't work as well with the orange tops. Hey, I think Bama might be played his way into this damn thing. I mean, Bama's got a real shot.
What'd you think of the call at second base? He was sliding directly into the bag.
Yeah.
Putting your hands up is not.
It's not technically or guaranteed interference.
Do you believe he intentionally hit him in the groin? Because I don't.
I don't either. I think he intentionally put his hands up with an intent to defect the play. I do.
Yeah.
But, no, I don't think he hit him on purpose.
So he wasn't punching him in the...
No. I think if you have to call it interference there, it's because you believe he was putting his hands up to affect the throw. And I'll buy that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's not necessarily a natural movement to do this when you're sliding in.
Right.
So I'll buy that part of it. But, no, I don't think he was hitting him.
See, no, people can't. Well, I guess they can see me. The fact that his hands just went right here, had his hands gone here, reached, I would have had a. But the fact that his hands just went up.
Because in some ways you're just protecting.
Well, a lot of times when you slide, you're told, hey, get your hands off the ground because you can break a finger.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't like the call. I thought Tennessee got screwed.
Yeah. I mean, Bama needed it more, so of course they got the call because, I mean, it gets them in. What are you talking about? I mean, hell, Jesus.
I know.
Come on.
Got to protect the Tide.
My God. It's in Hoover. They played in that park in 15. That was their home stadium. 15? No, I don't know. Whatever.
Whenever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. We'll get to some of your questions and more coming up in a second. First, talk about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done locally, so you get a local underwriting and understand your market. A leader in condo financing and more. You can find Jason and the float down option at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
Join Coach Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels in the vault this season. Season ticket packages start at just $199. Can be purchased by visiting OleMissTix.com. That's OleMissTix.com. We're also brought to you by Lammon's Fine Jewelry. Lammon's located at 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford, serving the Oxford area for more than 73 years. Engagement rings, wedding rings, watches, pearls, children's jewelry, you name it, they've got it. They're the gold standard in fine jewelry, so visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-2342-777. We're also brought to you by Comer Heating and Air. Comer Heating and Air is the name you can trust with more than 50 years of professional HVAC experience in Oxford, Tupelo, and the surrounding area. They're offering a special fall preventative maintenance agreement to make sure your heating system is running in tip-top shape. Make sure to call Comer Heating and Air, 662-801-1777. Also brought to you by the College Corner, your one-stop Rebel Shop, 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, it's not a problem. Go to the College Corner at collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. And we're brought to you by Pinnacle. Pinnacle based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states as well. At Pinnacle, investing is treated like a commodity, and decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. To learn more, go to pintrust.com. That's PINN trust.com. And we're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. You guys know how this works. You get in touch with John. You say, hey, here's what I'm kind of thinking about doing with my vacation. This is some parameters that I've got, kind of what I want to do, where I'm thinking about going. Here's my budget. And then don't do anything. Stop. And he will put together a comprehensive list of options for you that you're not going to find on your own. And you know you don't have to live anywhere near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or Edwards at regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
Podcast also brought to you by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com. The community market returns 3 to 6:30 at the Old Armory Pavilion on June 1st. That is every Tuesday throughout the summer, and the Summer Sunset Series, Concerts in the Grove, 6 to 7:30, starting June 6th. That's every week as well, so take advantage of those summer activities and more. To find out the full list of events going on each day and each week locally here in Oxford, visit oxfordms.com/events. So jump into your questions a little bit here on today's show. Cluster Fluster kicking us off. Is there a better Sazerac to be found within 300 miles of St. Leo? If so, where? Well, 300 miles is a long way, so I'm sure there are lots of really, really good Sazeracs.
Sounds like a challenge.
It sounds like a challenge. Yeah, the Sazerac challenge. We scope out all within 300 square miles. And
probably a couple places in Birmingham worth looking.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah,
probably a couple places in Nashville worth looking.
Yeah, just hunches as we're doing this. But in Oxford, if you're getting a Sazerac, there are 2 places to get it. It's St. Leo and it's Snack Bar. And I've had a hard time finding one that I like anywhere else, including one place a couple years ago that I've already made fun of like 10 times, so I'll spare him moving forward. But I said, hey, do you have any absinthe? And he goes, yeah, we have Absolute. And I said, okay, just pour something on an ice cube and we'll move on with our day right there. That is when I don't want any cocktail from you at all.
At that point, you say, do not put any of your absinthe on anything.
Bottled beer?
Yeah,
okay,
just
cool. All right.
Pour the bourbon in a glass. Do you have one of those big cubes?
Yeah.
Or not?
That's cool. All right. It's fine. No, leave the cherry out. We're fine.
If you have to say I'd like an old-fashioned with no soda and no cherry, just don't order the old-fashioned.
Do you muddle? Do you do this? Do you put soda in it? So you're giving me a cocktail that's like sun-kissed is what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're giving me an alcoholic sun-kissed.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Like a Jack and sun-kissed.
Well, you can see it. Like sometimes when you know they're being delivered to you, and you look and you see the fizz and the orange. That's like
awful.
It's like glowing at you, and
Yeah.
you go, oh God, that's.
Yeah.
When he picks up the muddler and he starts just hammering away, you're like, oh, okay,
Just give me an IPA.
it's fine. I'll make do. But yeah, those are the two cocktail programs in town that I would suggest for you. Class 77, does Corey Hinkes have a clause in her contract to get a bonus for winning a national championship? If so, what is it? Yeah, I'm sure, but I have no idea what it is. But yeah, I would assume every coach does have that clause.
Congrats to them, by the way. We haven't said
we
that.
haven't even talked about it.
Yeah,
They beat Oklahoma State 4-1 yesterday. Kind of dominated throughout, frankly, to win the national title.
I was driving, and so every once in a while I would pull up the thread.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it. I'm like, what? It'd be like 2-2-1. I'm like, was that good? Is that bad? I mean, and so finally I got to Carson's practice and pulled out my phone to see it, and I saw that they won. And so I was not in a place where I could watch.
Their ability to play match play is fairly amazing. I mean, we asked questions to them last night, the players. Ole Miss did a really good job of making people available on a Zoom once they got done with all the Golf Channel stuff last night. And they're carried, obviously, by Julia Johnson, they're All-American, and by Kennedy Swan. And those two are 18-4 all-time in match play. They really dominate it. They talk about not wanting to be called gritty or scrappy or whatever, but they do kind of play with a chip on their shoulder, and you see that in match play. It's one of those things that makes them so good. But they, again, they were only there because their number 5 player, Samila Somberby, won her quarterfinal match against Texas. But the other 4 yesterday really just kind of dominated the Cowgirls for Oklahoma State throughout the day, and they clinched it comfortably. Julia was 4 up, and her match didn't matter. They had already clinched it by the time she finished up. So, yeah, capped it off. I mean, the one thing we talk about, this is with any sport. I mean, I think they're going to be really good. I think they're a perennial team as long as Corey's here. I think they're recruiting at a high level. They've got everybody but Kennedy Swan back next year. Julia's coming back. But when you get this close, take advantage of it. You never know when some things could go wrong for 2 or 3 years. You get upset to match play. You get somebody hurt in a stroke play part to get there. So just capping it off is what is so cool because it's really easy to miss a window there and not be able to get back. So
Julia Johnson got invited. She gets like a
okay.
I'm revealing I don't know my golf stuff. So she gets, but one member of the team gets an
LPGA invite into a tournament.
Okay.
Yeah. What?
So she got it, and she gave it
to Kennedy Swan.
Are you allowed to do that?
Yes. So, yeah, the way basically it works is there are 2 exemptions, invites into an LPGA event given out this week. One is to the individual champion, so that's Rachel Heck of Stanford.
Okay.
And then to one member of the winning team that is determined by the head coach. So, yeah, Corey gave it to Julia in the thing. Julia, because she's coming back this year, Kennedy's trying to start a pro career. Julia turns around, gives it to Kennedy for her to play in it moving forward.
I rest my case from yesterday.
You don't think many males go, you know what, I'm going to pass on the PGA event. I'm going to go ahead and hand that over to my teammate right there.
Your Honor, the prosecution rests.
Is that what you're saying?
We're done.
I'm telling you, I cracked up again yesterday. Every single hole won. Just waving. And I have to give things.
If it's a bunch of guys, somebody hits somebody with the club. I mean, it just gets ugly.
And this is a golf thing. And our text message chain that Jeffrey's in with me was pretty active throughout the match yesterday. And Jeffrey made me laugh on Andrea Lignell, who ended up clinching the match for Ole Miss. She gets on like 16. I think she's one up on 16. And all day long, they've been giving probably any putt inside 3 feet, 3.5 feet, been gimmies, pick it up, move on. And they get to 16, and the girl from Oklahoma State's got a 2-foot putt, maybe 1.5 feet, and Lignell makes her putt it, and she misses.
Ooh.
And Jeffrey's like in the thread going, hey, my kind of girl right here. Like, I'm all in on this one. But it was the perfect time because, even if she gets pissed off, there's only 2 holes left. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you do it earlier, and it probably gets a little strange, but you picked the perfect time where if she does screw, because I think the Oklahoma State girl didn't necessarily concentrate because she got kind of like, she was shocked. It was like, oh, I've got to hit this and then get over it and hit it. And she kind of pulls it and misses it. And suddenly she's 2 down with 2 to go and the thing's over. I mean, it was like, okay. But yeah, they all played really well. Neat thing. And they get back, by the way, airport at 1:45 today for anybody who wants to meet them there. And then they're doing a kind of a parade route to City Hall at 2:45, I believe, is the time for that. So anybody who wants to,
well, good for them.
It's all over the internet. Find it, and then I think at City Hall around 2:45, 3 o'clock, something like that. Is they
getting the key to the city or something?
I don't know what they're getting.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. But yeah, they some different things hooked up there for that. So,
but congratulations to Corey and all of them. That's really cool.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's
awesome.
The first undisputed national title in school history from a team standpoint. Because the only 3 otherwise were the 3 football ones, which are all split titles and all kind of stuff. So It's the first ever straight, no doubt to it, if you will, title for the school. Oklahoma State had not had a women's title either. They had 52 men's titles, I believe, but no women's titles coming into the year. Which I think like 48 of them were in golf and wrestling or something. Like they were almost all in 2 sports for Oklahoma State. Coma Rebel. Chase, if you and Kennedy Swan played 18 from the same tees in ideal conditions, do you think you could stay within 5 strokes? Hell no.
Nah, she'd smoke you.
Yeah, I would need, on her off day and my best day, I would need 10 at least. Something like 10, probably. I'm also a mental midget, so if I play really well in the front, I'm going to play at least 10 shots worse on the back because I'm going to get in my head about it. So, yeah, no, at least 10, and that's probably not enough unless something really went right for me. So, no, hell no, 5 shots would not be enough. She hits it farther than I do. There's literally nowhere on the course that I even am close to doing anything.
She's going to be a professional golfer. Yeah. She's going to get paid to play golf.
Yeah,
you pay to play golf.
Yeah, right. It's not the same thing.
It's a big difference. By the way, I'm totally with Avery here. She says, I'm in a waiting room right now. Why don't people use headphones in public places? I'll never understand it. The people that just sit there with their phone just going. Like, everybody's got headphones. Just get some headphones.
You still have some people that talk on speakerphone in waiting rooms.
I know. I passed somebody in Kroger talking on a speakerphone. And people look at me funny for wearing headphones in Kroger. I think everybody else is crazy to not have headphones on.
It's just polite, frankly.
Yes.
It's not even about, hey, I'm trying to avoid people or not talk or like whatever. I mean, I guess it can be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. I don't know. Is it an age thing?
I don't know.
Most people, certain ages, were more likely to have headphones, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I've not studied this hypothesis enough.
Fine. Rebel Sandman, you said Ole Miss could have the entire offensive lineup back next year. What's keeping Graham from being drafted high enough for him to consider coming back for another year? He hits the all fields, hit for power, has a current 50-game on-base streak, and shown he's a serviceable corner outfielder. Now, look, Kevin Graham could absolutely go pro and get drafted. There's just a chance he doesn't. That's all I'm kind of saying. There's no guarantees in that lineup that they're gone. The draft's only 20 rounds this year, and that doesn't necessarily matter, but it kind of does too. It clogs it up in some ways. It makes you potentially overextend and do some underextending in spots. I think it limits the amount of spots there are for the type of Kevin Graham player where, you know, if he'd like to go sign for, and I'm just throwing out numbers, I don't know, $300,000, he can do that all day long. Somebody'd be happy to pay it. But if he has any higher of a standard than that, it could be tough to get. You know, do they think he can play corner outfield at that level? I don't know. Is he relegated to first base, which changes what he has to do offensively? It's just a lot there. It's just not a guarantee. It's not like you've got a –
he could play first base on this team.
Well, yes, he could. He has before.
He should.
They
should do it again.
You feel good about that?
Who would play in the outfield, Neil? I don't know. Does it matter?
Fine, sure. Sounds good. It's not like they've got Greg Kessinger sitting over there or Jacob Gonzalez in 2 years is my point, where somebody's automatically, hey, he's a third-round pick or better. Once once you're not a third or fourth round pick, that thing can get a little sideways on you in a hurry on what you want to do and just kind of what your goals are as this thing moves forward. Speaking of, unconfirmed source with the next question, how do you see the first base situation developing for next season? Trey couldn't avoid injury this year, and Baker just doesn't fit the bill at the plate or in the field. My gut is that Calvin Harris plays it this early. I know some people.
Where's he been lately?
Hadn't played. Must have been a lot of left-handed pitching opposing. He's not going to catch a ton because of Dunhurst is back next year. I know some people go, hey, he's kind of a small target over there. I think that's overrated. Just put a dude to play first base. The Morgan kid at LSU is an all-SEC first baseman, and he's not a big kid. I mean, Ole Miss played Will Golson over there for a year. I mean, whatever. Just Calvin can do fine. It puts his bat in the lineup.
You don't have to have Freddie Freeman or Anthony Rizzo or something at the college level.
Fine. Just throw it over there. Yeah. It's all good. Calvin's got great hands, so it's all good. So yeah, I think that's probably the move. If you told me right now to predict it, I think Calvin Harris is the first baseman next year. That's my guess.
I get more sold on this Tennessee alternate uni.
It's one of your favorite alternates.
It's really strong.
It's a great daytime jersey.
It's a great daytime. Like if this was a major league team, Sunday afternoon getaway day. All right, dude, put a charge in that. That's gone. It's a hell of a jersey. The more I look at it, the more I say, yep.
And never put it on gray pants.
No.
It has to be on white pants.
It has to be on white pants. It has to be this right here. Orange top, white pants. No goofy pewter colored something. Just this. It's clean. It's a very nice look.
Jeffrey asking in the thread, any news on Arkansas pitcher Peyton Pallette? Yeah, that's not a good situation.
He's out for the season.
Year. How does it affect Arkansas? I mean, look, they don't have a ton of starting pitching, and it's one more down. Now,
sure,
they have a lot of dudes that are potentially serviceable, but no, it's a big loss. I mean, they did that. Slavins does something to his ankle yesterday at first base. The Hogs have not had a real good week from an injury standpoint. They're banged up pretty good right now.
If I'm them, and it's not in their DNA, it's because it's not in their coach's DNA, I'm just getting the hell out of there. If I'm still in Hoover on Saturday night and I'm Arkansas, I view this as a complete failure.
You're annoyed. You'd like to be in your own bed.
I would, if I were them, I'd be playing in this game coming up, losing it, and getting the hell out of there. I mean, they weren't falling out of the one seed
yesterday.
Yeah, they lost their first baseman yesterday. Their 3-hole hitter.
Yeah, kind of a big deal.
I mean, it's potentially significant. He's a hell of a good baseball player.
Can he come back? I have no idea. I don't know how bad the sprain is. But sprains can linger on you.
They were a little more optimistic late last night from what I read. A little more. They don't think he broke it.
Okay. Because had he broken it, that's it. You're done.
He was able to put some weight on it. Apparently he was able to put some weight on it after the game. So he's got, 8-9 days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, young, healthy guy, 8-9 days with an ankle can –
you can be all right.
You can be okay, yeah. He's not playing basketball.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, SPARC. Service people across rural communities. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband, nespark.com, 662-238-3159. Phone services available, as well as parental controls, network security, and more. Again, find out if they're in your area, and you can find the best internet here in town, 662-238-3159.
Also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go, just off Interstate 55. In Grenada, Mississippi, they have a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all with the personal touch. They also have a commercial checking account. It's now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. It comes with fully interactive online banking. They can also set up any local business to deposit checks from their office and not have to worry with coming to the bank daily to deposit those checks. You want to learn more about that? Go to liveoxford.bankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. We're also brought to you by the law firm of Bain, Moss, and Bowen, located in historic downtown Corinth. Their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss, and Bowen is the only firm in Mississippi made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. Their experience is unmatched in that regard, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth, or by calling them at 662-287-1620. And we're brought to you by Alpha Specialties, located at 1670 Highway 80 in Pearl, Mississippi. Alpha is your trailer-specific professional. If you want to haul it, they can call it. It's the premium trailer dealership in Mississippi. They've got load trail. They've also got Hallmark cargo trailers. They've got spare tires and wheels starting at just $100, and they can repair all types of trailers: concession, horse, utility, enclosed, gooseneck, RV, and more. So give them a call, 601-932-9798, or check them out at alphaofms.com. And make sure you tell them that you heard about Alpha on the MPW Digital Network of podcasts.
Would Neil rather eat 3 bananas in one sitting or read blooms of oleander in one sitting?
Blooms of oleander.
You hate bananas that much?
Yeah.
You'd rather spend a couple hours versus like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just eat 3 bananas.
I would spend the next 2 hours throwing up.
It's texture, right?
Yeah. And I don't like the way they smell either. Let's be honest.
No, I get it. I understand.
Like that banana
what
liqueur.
shares its texture, though? Like what else freaks you out? 'Cause you eat oysters.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing has a worse texture than an oyster.
But you can put stuff on an oyster that sort of changes the game.
Okay. Like to me, and I hate the taste too, but like cottage cheese is the one.
Bro, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Because Laura likes that crap.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It makes me gag.
So Laura likes to take tomatoes and put mayonnaise on it. And at that point, I'm like, why are we even in the same house? Don't do that at the same table with, that's disgusting to me.
People love like tomato sandwiches with mayonnaise all over them.
I'd starve first.
I can get through like a burger if it has a little bit of mayonnaise on it, and I just have to.
If you have to do
but
it.
But globbing, and we have a problem.
Oh, yeah.
That's the issue. I've already talked about Diamond, if that helps him out with throwing game one. I don't know. We'll see. Is Alderman a catcher or a first baseman? He's a catcher more than he's a first baseman, in my opinion.
Can we go back to the mayonnaise thing? Because Ginger brings up a good point,
sure.
And I'm with her on this. So this is where I'm funny.
Okay.
I don't like chunks of avocado. Now I like guacamole if the guacamole's well done and it's crushed or in a way that it's not chunky, and it doesn't have to be processed smooth. But if it's done in a way that it's not big chunks of it, I'm in. But if you're going to take a big chunk of avocado and put it in my salad, I don't want it.
Okay, see, I'm
totally with Ginger.
I'm so odd here. I'm the exact opposite. I have no really use for guacamole at all. But if avocado's on my sushi, I have no issue. If avocado is like on something,
big
I'm
pieces
cool.
of it, or little diced.
I can cut it and take a bite. I have no problem.
Okay.
And what's so weird about that is like guacamole would be the more palatable thing because of the spices and the different things it has with it, where it's got some acidity and the whole deal. And,
right.
But I don't know. Guacamole is not my thing. I'd rather have almost any dip than guacamole.
Huh.
Not a fan. Not really my deal.
Are you a cilantro person?
I am, yeah. I know a lot of people think it's a genetic thing. A lot of people think it's like dishwater.
So some people say if it tastes like soap, that's your body's way of saying you're allergic to it.
Really?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I've always heard it was a genetic thing of whether you like cilantro or not.
To me, I love it.
Oh, you can put it all over my burritos and stuff.
Absolutely.
But no, people like gag at it. Like they can't handle it at all. It's very similar to the people, getting back to the Sazerac conversation, that like Sazeracs, because some people think, and now this has to be done well sometimes, but even on ones done well, people think it has too much of a licorice taste. They can't get through a Sazerac because of the licorice taste.
To me, that's because they used too much absinthe.
It's absolutely, yeah. They didn't rinse it correctly, and it leaves out.
You're supposed to have a film of absinthe, not like a shot of absinthe.
Yeah, you have a problem at that point. It's not a well-made cocktail. What percentage Do you like cilantro or not if you're in our third? I'm just kind of curious what percentages are that we have here. So let me know. I mean, everybody likes queso. I mean, what's not to like? It's melted cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. what's the problem? George Rule says, Chase, what do you do as coach for this next baseball game? Play to really win or get some younger guys some work and get ready to prepare for the regional? I mean, I don't know that I'm like necessarily pulling all my starters, but I'm not doing anything to tax anybody. Like Taylor Broadway does not have spikes today at all. He was not giving his cleats today.
No way.
Especially after feeling a little weird yesterday. Nope.
No, he doesn't pitch again for me until it's a controlled bullpen.
Yeah, no. We're good no matter what we do for a few days with him. Obviously, Doherty's not going to throw. I don't mind getting Kimbrel back out there because I didn't think he pitched that badly yesterday. Maybe just, hey, you can get outs, go get a few just to do whatever today. But, yeah, no, look, from a pitching standpoint, you're just trying to get through this game and see what happens. And if you hit your way to a win, then, okay, I deal with tomorrow. But, I mean.
If I win today.
You're throwing a flag across the field
I am
tomorrow.
sending a white flag across the dugout.
You and Van Horn would be trying not to win a baseball game tomorrow.
Oh, if it's Ole Miss versus Arkansas tomorrow, it will be two coaches who want to get the hell out of there.
You said you covered an SEC tournament game one time where the winning team was pissed.
Arkansas-Auburn.
Yeah.
It was a late game, went forever, and Auburn won, and Hal Baird was so pissed at Arkansas for not winning.
He was trying to lose.
Yes. And the coach at Arkansas was kind of trying to lose too. So it was, let's get out of it.
Is that Ben Bryant?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He kind of needed to win, sort of maybe. Auburn had nothing to gain and needed to get out of there. And Hal knew that he had a bunch of kids that if he put them on the field, they'd run through walls.
Mm-hmm.
And he very specifically did not want them to run through a wall. And I think he threw an outfielder. Like some kid.
Really?
Some kid had been like saying, hey, I want to pitch. And he's like, go for it.
Corbin in 07 or 08 threw a kid that had once been a manager on the team. But was on the active roster.
I mean, look, Dave Van Horn acted all macho about it last night. But you know he got back to his hotel room and said, son of a bitch. I mean, do you think the big 9-run win over Georgia meant anything to them last night? Took their national seed from 1-1?
Yeah. Lane Train asking, with all baseball players getting an extra year due to COVID, will seniors now have some negotiating power in the draft? Do you expect some middle-of-the-road juniors to return because they have some perceived leverage after their senior year due to the possibility of coming back for a fifth year? There are probably some cases where that's the case, but not really.
Not really. And then the draft's still smaller than it used to be. So
and age matters so much.
Yeah.
You're 22, 23, you got a problem versus when you were 21. So, yeah, there's some of that in the middle of this as well.
By the way, I saw The Athletic had a mock draft out today. It was their newest one. They had Job going 8th
to the Rockies,
and they had Hoagland going 26.
MLB.com had Hoagland going to the Cardinals at 16, maybe?
Well, that would piss me off.
Something like that. I think that's what it was.
I mean, good for Gunnar. But
I mean, that will assure that he has a great Major League career. I mean, that will guarantee his prominence in the National League.
That would really piss me off. I always hate it when they take somebody that I even remotely know.
Because now you have to hate them. You have no choice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Let's see.
Like it's so much easier to cheer for Lance Lynn now.
Oh, he's more palatable now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see. MLB.com, yeah. They got Leiter 2. Got Kumar falling all the way to 6.
Yeah, and the Athletics the opposite. They had Kumar going before Leiter. They had Leiter going like 8.
MLB.com has Jackson Jobe going to the Rockies at 8. Said Jobe might have the best slider in the draft. His fastball and changeup can flash his plus pitches, and he pounds the strike zone, so he might overcome the bias against prep righties and go significantly higher than this. If they look beyond the consensus top tier, the Rockies could go for a college bat, such as Colton Cowser or Sam Frelick or shortstop Matt McClain. 18 is what it is. Gunnar Hoagland, 18 to the St. Louis Cardinals. an almost certain top 10 pick before blowing out his elbow earlier this month. Hoagland is still a lock first-rounder as an advanced college starter.
Who they have the Cubs taking at 20?
Michael McGreevy, right-handed pitcher, UC Santa Barbara.
He'll suck.
He has struck out 104 and walked 10 this season.
Oh, well. He'll get in the Cub organization, and all of a sudden he can't throw a strike.
Flipping down the board to see if I see anything else that makes sense, and I really don't. So, okay. Yeah. There's that. Ooh, boiled okra is a really bad texture. Ooh, that's a good one. I don't mind fried okra. I don't mind grilled okra at all. I really like grilled okra, but boiled okra is
disgusting.
Is the devil. That's not okay.
I like it fried. I'm fine with it grilled if I have to eat it. But if it's boiled, no.
Fabius asking who the most dangerous 3 and 4 seeds. I mean, look, it's all relative. Wright State's the 4 that would kind of freak me out a little bit. I don't know of anybody. Is it like Fordham or somebody that has like a really good arm? But I don't know. Whatever. Well, I mean Santa Barbara, but Ole Miss is not seeing Santa Barbara. Virginia is a 3 seed you would not want to deal with just because of what it does to your overall regional strength. Some teams like that. I mean, frankly, the one that would terrify me if I'm in another regional outside the SEC is LSU getting in because I got Landon Marceau.
I know.
And they could complicate that for you in a hurry.
I want to see whether they do something vicious and send LSU to a SEC regional as a 3.
I don't think they can.
I would hope not.
I think that's literally illegal. I don't think you can put intra-conference regional games together. You can match supers, but I don't think you can do regionals. Why is Vanderbilt the most annoying team in college baseball? Because they win at an incredibly high level. And they are kind of annoying. That is the answer. They steer into the skid of being annoying.
They have a Major League Baseball bullpen.
They do. It's easy to be annoyed with Vanderbilt. I mean, it is. It's not their fault, but it's very easy to be annoyed with them.
Yes.
Both those things can be true at the same time.
Absolutely.
I mean, because they piss off everybody. I mean, I get it.
I kind of love them and hate them at the same time. I find them to be fascinating.
You laugh at them a lot.
A lot. I laughed at them last night where they bring in the dude after that dude and then they bring in another dude. And he's just, even though Elko hit the home run off the kid, It wasn't a bad pitch. Tim put a really good swing on it, but dude's throwing gas out of the bullpen.
That lefty that came in would be Ole Miss's number 1 or number 2 reliever right now.
Oh, this moment.
I mean, dude had some serious shit. Like,
I know.
It was like, holy.
I know. I mean,
he had thrown 10 innings.
He didn't like hang some cement mixer to Elko. Elko just hit it.
Pitch.
He hit an oppo.
I mean, yeah.
And the dude that started, he's only thrown 30 innings the whole year. And he's out there just throwing cheese. It was hilarious. I mean, you kind of start laughing at it. Like, this is...
They're throwing rocker today.
Yeah. I mean, their third starter this weekend, if they decide that they want to pitch him, is going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Stop.
It's not really fair.
Well, no.
It's not fair.
No, it's insane.
But we'll get back to Omaha and Kyle Peterson and go, Vanderbilt and that small university just making things happen. Thanks, Kyle.
And that's when I start laughing because that is not their fault. That narrative is...
But ESPN doesn't want to do the real story.
Of course not.
We're just going to do the hey.
And so, Corbin sits there and goes...
Chugga-lugga.
Yeah. Corbin just says, hey, there's a loophole here, and I'm going to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Until you close it.
Cam Locke asking, what's the real story with Greer Holston? Look, I don't know that it's overly complicated. My guess, and I could be wrong, I don't know, I haven't even asked anybody, is that Greer doesn't have a lot of command, or at least hasn't shown command in simulated games or wherever Mike has watched them, and Mike doesn't trust him to throw. I think that's probably what it is. It could have no other intent at all, so I'm not going to put words or any intent in Greer's mouth. I thought it was interesting when Greer put his TrackMan numbers on social media a couple weeks ago. That at least came off like frustration, whether it was or was not. But I don't know. I mean, his arm is healthy. I mean, he was up to 94 in a bullpen 2 weeks ago. But the one inning he's thrown this year, the command was pretty erratic, and my guess is Mike simply doesn't trust him. But it is a little weird that there's been plenty of mop-up times for a senior that's been with your program for this long. So I don't know. It has a weird taste, but I don't necessarily understand if I know why I think that all the way around. But
All right, Grind says, what about those projected win totals? You want to get to those?
Yeah, that's fine. We can do that.
By the way, I just watched that replay again. That was a terrible call. The play
really?
from
The
yesterday.
Tennessee thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do
He was protecting his face from the guy's knee. He wasn't.
Okay, well, that's fair then.
Because if you were going to hit him in the groin to impact the throw, you wouldn't do it with an open side of your hand. You would likely close a fist.
I'll pull up the win totals after this one question while we're in our last break. We'll get to this one real quick because I know Tools asked this a couple different places. If you had to pick which team sport next wins a national title at Ole Miss, excluding women's golf, which would it be and why?
Men's golf.
I mean, look, your candidates without some crazy improvement. I mean, baseball gets in the tournament, so you have to at least consider it.
Sure.
They've built quickly. I think that with one pitcher, softball's in the conversation because it's doable.
Okay.
I threw that.
Sure.
I think men's tennis has to at least be in the conversation because you could bring in one or two recruits, and they're always a regional host kind of program.
Sure.
Probably the ones I'd say. With the next one being, frankly, because of the way they're recruiting women's basketball, I think you at least have to have the conversation for that.
Yeah, it'd be a minute before I
It would be a minute.
Yeah.
But when you're bringing in top 50 prospects, you at least are in the – compared to the other sports, you're in the conversation.
Sure.
But I think it's one of those. I think that would be the – I mean, the answer is women's golf repeats next year. But if you're going outside of that sport, those are probably the ones that I would –
You wouldn't put men's golf on that list?
It's got more depth. I mean, Jackson Suber's a really, really good player, but, you know, it's a not to have a Title IX conversation. Men's golf is a harder sport here than women's golf because they get fewer scholarships. So it's a the in-state talent is not. It was really good in the Jackson area a few years ago, but year over year, you're not necessarily pulling in a lot of local kids, different things. Yeah, men's golf, and frankly, because of your facilities. I mean, the course is it's way too short for men. The women can kind of make it work. Now, they've done a great job with the Ty Short course, but just facilities-wise, even, it sets up a little better than the women than the men. I think the men's golf program is at more of a disadvantage than the women's golf program at Ole Miss. So that's why I'm not necessarily excluding that. Chris, don't throw anything at me, but that's my.
Let the record show, Chris, that I was for you, and he's against you.
So
when you need a caddy that just drinks, I'm your guy.
You're the man. Yeah. When you need a caddy that drinks. I
can drive his cart or walk around and pull some clubs around on one of those little wheel things.
You'll do whatever.
Yeah. The beer's cold.
Well, you think that was a power move when you were? I don't know if you watched any of it because you were going. Oklahoma State had a lot of girls carrying their own bags instead of using the cart. Is that like a psychological thing, or is that just a stupid thing?
That's stupid. That's not going to phase. Now, see, if you did that with guys, the guys would go, okay, well, I got to carry my own bag now. But girls
just use their carts.
Girls are like, no, this cart's very nice. I
wheel it around.
I wheel it around. It's perfect.
Yeah, all the Oklahoma State girls were putting the bags on their back.
Oh, that's dumb.
It felt like a power move.
That's on them.
Another thing, real quick, and I promise we'll get to lines in a second, is the message board topic yesterday. But this is more about psychology. Everybody's going, hey, because the best player from a ranking standpoint played for Oklahoma State, Maria Stark, yesterday, and Ole Miss didn't have a chance to put somebody with her because they had to pick their player first to go out. But all the message board people are going, hey, why would you put Kennedy on her? Why don't you just sacrifice that point and then you do this? No, you put your dog on their dog because, A, you don't want to look like psychologically that you're trying to avoid one of those players. You don't look like that you have to react to what they're doing. Kennedy's like 9-2 all-time in match play, and if you happen to win that, that's going to reverberate through all the other matches, and that's going to freak Oklahoma State out if their main player doesn't win. So to me, that didn't make a lot of sense yesterday. To me, you just put your lineup out as you put it, and you let Oklahoma State react to it as they will, and you kind of play from there. I thought that from a mental standpoint, you would be at a disadvantage if you start trying to move things around to fit them. Just put your five out there and see how it goes. So anyway. Podcast brought to you in part by Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. G&M there on South Lamar in Oxford. Tyson Drugs on the Square in Holly Springs. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync to fill your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you, whether it's one trip to the pharmacy or one delivery. You get the medicine you need when you need it. So again, 662-236-2222.
My mother just sent me a video of a snake. She's like, "What kind of snake is this?" And I'm like, "Well, it looks like a copperhead." And you really
What's it doing?
Slithering.
So it's in their yard?
I would assume.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
Really?
I'm not visiting there anytime
Where's water?
soon.
There's no water right
There's
there.
that kind of that creek back there. If
Is
you
it
think
really?
about it, yeah.
Okay.
You go back in their backyard, sometimes there's like
like right behind there? A little area?
yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I didn't know that.
And then, they've cleared all that land because
The construction. Yeah.
construction. And so, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm supposed
You're
to read
fine.
ads. I was distracted. Actually, I was terrified. We're brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans. Been telling you for a while to go to Blue Delta Jeans through their DMs. They've been with us for like 3 years. Go to bluedeltajeans.com and click on their virtual tailor. You can create your very own pair of Blue Delta jeans. Handmade, blue jeans made just for you. One size fits one at bluedeltajeans.com. It's don't forget you enter promo code Rebel Grove in the checkout line. One word, all lowercase, 10% off your very first pair of Blue Delta jeans. You'll love them. We wear them all the time. Our favorites. You will love them as well. We're also brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue is located in Jackson, just off I-55, 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or therogue.com. It's your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylists hand-select pieces from top designers, from work to lifestyle to nightlife. This is the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. All the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey, True Grit, and more. Again, 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or therogue.com.
So, getting into these win totals for the 2021 football season, we kind of teased them yesterday. Going down the list here, it's like whether we like the over or under, good bet, bad bet, just kind of some general thoughts over the teams that I see in the league. South Carolina leads off the list in the SEC. Shane Beamer's first season. South Carolina pretty low. They got South Carolina at over under 4 wins, Mr. McGrady. That is I'm pulling up their schedule right now, but that's a pretty low number as they're getting into the 2020 season. I'm not much of a believer in Beamer. If you told me to buy or sell it, I'm not buying him as the South Carolina football coach.
No, I'm selling on him. So the line is 4.
They got to win 5 to go over 4. Yeah. Eastern Illinois, East Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, Troy, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, A&M, Florida, Missouri, Auburn, Clemson. So
I'm a visual learner.
If
so
you
I'm
have to
pulling
get
it up
them
so
to
I can see
5, it has to be Eastern Illinois, East Carolina, Troy, Vanderbilt, and one more. Missouri, probably.
Yeah, it'd be Eastern Illinois, East Carolina,
Troy,
because I don't think they can beat Kentucky.
Vanderbilt.
Tennessee's going to be bad.
So they have 6 chances to win 5 games. Because I don't see them beating anybody else.
I'd feel better with the over than I would the under.
You would?
Yeah.
Because the under's 3. That doesn't make sense. To me,
Yeah.
It's a push or an over.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's a no-go because the push scares me.
Yeah,
it looks 4 and 8.
It's not a good line. Yeah.
No, I don't like. 4.5 would have made me much more willing to play ball with you over or under there. At 4.5, I'm thinking about the under.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the under. Yeah.
I would be pushing that. So Ole Miss 7.5. We talked about it yesterday. That requires 8.
Okay, so I'm almost to the point where I have it memorized.
I don't know the order yet. I keep messing up the order.
So it's Louisville, which I think's a win.
Yeah, that needs to be a win.
Austin Peay's a win. Tulane's a win.
So 3.
I think Arkansas at home's a win. I think at Tennessee is a win.
If so, they're 5-1 at that.
5-1. Then you get to the weird. Oh boy, it's a weird 4-game stretch.
It really is. But now you can get where you need to get with only needing 1 extra game.
Right. So you get LSU at home. To me, is a toss-up.
Sure, that's fair.
At Auburn is a toss-up. I think Liberty is at home is a win.
Yeah, I'm putting it in the win category.
It's sandwiched. Okay, let's say that I'm right and that Ole Miss is 5-1 at the break, at the turn, not the break, the turn. LSU's going to be a circus in Oxford, an absolute circus.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to win it, I'm scaring the hell out of people when I do this.
Okay,
you win it. I'm no longer talking about lines now. I'm talking about I kind of am too. You beat LSU. Okay.
Okay.
Now you're 7-1, 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Auburn, you're in the top 10. You're getting tons of national attention, and you might even be favored at this point.
Sure.
You go to Auburn, they're going to be geeked up for you, the whole deal. No matter what happens that day, that Liberty game the next week has letdown written all over it. All over it.
You don't think you avoid it because of the circumstances?
I think you have to be careful not to. For all the kids that weren't recruited by Hugh Freeze,
yeah,
that don't remember that stuff, that didn't go through that. Now, something tells me Matt Corral remembers it.
He'll be fine that day.
Yeah. But it's sandwiched between Auburn and then Texas A&M, where you could be starting to think about that A&M game. And then they're going to beat Vanderbilt. So, look, I think Ole Miss is an 8-4 or 9-3 team. I think they're going to lose to Alabama. I think they're going to lose to Texas A&M, and I think they're either going to lose to LSU or Auburn.
Well, that's an over.
And I like the
Either
over.
way.
So when it came out at 6 at one point, I was like, I'm going to Vegas. I love the over if you give me 6.5.
Well, yeah, sure.
But 7.5?
7 would make me a little more palatable because I could push.
Sure.
But it does. It feels 7 to 9-ish is kind of where I'm at too. But I mean, 9 takes everything falling correctly for the most part.
Sure. But if you told me
7 feels pretty comfortable without much push at all.
But even if they lose to LSU and Auburn, if I'm right about the rest of it, they still cover a 7.5 line.
Yeah. Missouri 7.
I'll pull up their schedule. I can't do this without looking at the schedules.
Well, I mean, I definitely don't know Missouri's schedule. All right, Central Michigan.
Yeah, this is a win.
I think Kentucky's a loss.
Yeah, at Kentucky, I think that's a loss.
SEMO, Boston College.
SEMO's a win. Boston College is a toss-up.
It is. Here's the thing, though. They can get to like 5 quickly if everything fell right, and they still got Vanderbilt down there.
Because they get Tennessee at home, that's a win. They get North Texas at home, that's a win. They'll lose to A&M. They win at Vanderbilt. They lose at Georgia. They beat South Carolina at home. Probably lose to Florida at home, though that, who knows. And then they almost certainly win their final game, although that's a Friday in Fayetteville this time, and Arkansas played them right down to the wire last year.
What I don't like about this is I only have them with 8 possibles. So they've got to literally run the table on what is doable.
So you've got them definitely losing to Kentucky.
I just don't think – I've got them with toss-ups to winning Central Michigan, SEMO, Boston College, Tennessee, North Texas, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Arkansas. No, sorry, 8. I give them 8 possibles, but they need every damn one of them to go over. So I can't – that's a no bet or a nothing. I can't say they're going to go 8-0 in the 8 games I think they can win.
Okay.
Because they'd have to upset Kentucky to pull a 9th in there. And that just doesn't feel right. I do like the quarterback a lot. But otherwise, nah. Texas is at 8. I'm not looking at their schedule, but just anybody's curious. That's where Sarkisian is in year 1. LSU, 8.5.
So this is that team that is so difficult to predict.
I got nothing.
Because they're really talented.
I'm so interested in this opener at UCLA.
Me too.
But they're going to be – look, they win that when they're 4-0.
So let's give them that one for a minute because exactly, that's my point. Give them that one. They get McNeese at home, Central Michigan at home. Now you're 3-0. You go to State. I think they're going to be better than State. And I don't think State's good.
Yeah, sure.
That's 4. You get Auburn at home. Certainly winnable. Probably a win.
Sure. Maybe.
at Kentucky at that point.
Both those feel like 50-50 toss-ups to me.
Okay.
But give them one.
Give them one. So now you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-1 at the turn. They get Florida at home, toss-up. At Ole Miss, toss-up. Lose to Alabama. Probably beat Arkansas, beat Monroe, and then
I think A&M.
I'm higher on A&M than a lot of people. And I'm sure I'm setting myself up to be ridiculed, but that's fine.
But you're only giving them one guaranteed loss. Two. You're giving them 2 guaranteed losses.
Right.
They can sustain one more and go over.
Now, I can paint a bad picture.
I can paint a picture of like 6-6.
Here's that. Lose to UCLA, and oh my God, everybody starts right away. Beat McNeese, beat Central Michigan.
Probably even beat State.
Beat State.
But you could lose to Auburn and Kentucky.
Lose to Auburn. Go to Kentucky
they
and
could
lose.
lose 4 in a row.
Yeah.
5. They could lose 5 in a row.
Oh,
right
then
there.
it's total chaos. And they're done for. And then, hell, at that point, I can make an argument for losing to Arkansas and A&M.
And it just...
Sure. I mean, if I told you, if the football gods dropped down into here in the Clark Ford studio and said somebody has a disaster of a season, just a total meltdown of a season, on the field, off the field, you would go, hey, LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the football gods came in here and goes, hey, they're really talented and they got good quarterback play and they went 10-2, are you shocked? No. That's why they're like volatile.
I feel the under.
They have athletes. They have athletes everywhere.
I just feel the under more than the over, for whatever reason.
8.5.
Yeah.
I think I do too. Just kind of weird.
Yeah.
They're super talented.
Florida,
all over the place.
Florida at 9.
Let's see.
So you got to get them to 10. So we'll go it backwards. They're going to lose to Alabama, and they get by Georgia too. So if you give them losses in both those games, just for the hell of it, they can't lose anywhere else. So what are your options for them to lose another game? They could lose at Kentucky. Probably won't, but they could. They could lose at LSU.
Won't. They could lose at LSU.
That's it, though.
That's it. Unless you say they could lose to Missouri.
So I'm going 10-2 for them. I think they're an over.
I think so too.
I think Florida's an over.
Yeah.
I'll take the. I think there's more likely they beat Georgia than they lose to one of those other teams. So to give me a little bit of clearance, I would even go that way. I get a push for chalk to still win, and I also would get, hey, that they beat Georgia, you're definitely good at that shit. At that point. So I think that's an over for Florida. I like them. Arkansas 5.5.
All right, let me pull them up because they've got a weird game early that a lot of people are kind of pointing at as a potential upset with Texas coming in.
All right. So what did I say, 5.5?
5.5.
Okay. So how do we get them to 6? So guarantees, Rice, or guarantees to get them for the hell of the argument. Rice, Georgia Southern.
Yeah, it's 2.
Pine Bluff.
Yep.
That's the only guarantees. Okay.
But my goal here is to get them to 6.
Yes.
Okay, so Rice, Georgia Southern, Pine Bluff. State at home.
Yes. Missouri
at home.
And one more.
The weird one for them is Texas. Early.
If they lose to Texas, I can't get them there. This is an under for me.
But and I'm with you.
This schedule is tougher than.
I'm thinking they're going to beat Texas at home.
They start 3-0.
And then they get that weird rivalry game. They'll lose it. They lose at Georgia. I think they lose at Ole Miss.
They lose at home against Auburn, I think.
I think so too. That would be one that I would circle as a interesting.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I mean, we've covered superior teams going to Fayetteville and losing.
Look, but that's an under to me.
Yeah,
I'm not buying.
It feels like a 5-7 season.
I would feel much better about myself with the under than the over. Let's put it that way. I'm having to ask for a lot there. And,
yeah, the path is Rice, Texas, Georgia Southern, Pine Bluff,
like I said, they
State,
pulled Georgia out
Missouri.
of the freaking East. I mean, like,
it's a tough.
10.5, Georgia. Which means, do they get upset and do they beat Florida? They have to not get upset and beat Florida to get the 10.5. If you're giving them a loss to Clemson in the opener.
Well, I'm doing that.
Yeah,
and I don't know why, but I am. Okay, so they lose to Clemson. They beat UAB. They beat South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Auburn, Kentucky.
Missouri, Tennessee,
And I think
Charleston, Southern.
I think they beat. So I go over.
Yeah. But now that means losing the opener and then running the table from that point.
Yeah, it does.
I think I agree with you, but ugh.
But the only teams that they play after Clemson that I'm like, they could is Auburn because it's at Auburn and Florida because it's in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And Georgia is superior to both of those teams from a talent standpoint at this point.
Yeah. Let's see. Vanderbilt 3. What I have Vanderbilt for.
I'll just go under for the hell of it.
You don't even need to know.
No, I'll pull the schedule up. Let's see. See if I can find the doors some wins.
Well, we got to get them to 4.
Got to get them to 4. New coach. All that excitement.
Their problem is they're only going to go they're only going to win 3 non-cons.
So they get East Tennessee State at home.
Well, no, they might not even do that. I mean, they could lose to Colorado State.
Colorado State's a toss-up. They get Stanford at home, which is a cute scheduling, but you're going to lose.
You're going to lose. I mean, neat, but
you lose to Georgia.
You're going to get UConn.
You beat UConn, so we got 2 wins. Yeah. Lose to Florida.
No.
I don't think they can go to South Carolina and win.
I mean, look, they might could eke a push out of this. They're not going over. There's not 4 wins in this thing.
No.
They suck. I know they play people hard sometimes and they get kind of cute, but
I mean, if I'm going to get them to 4, it's East Tennessee, Colorado State, Connecticut.
And they're like beating Missouri or something.
South Carolina, Missouri. It's hard to get them there.
No, I'm good. Just because Ole Miss plays them, Louisville's at 6.5. I'm not going through their schedule because I don't know enough about the ACC, but they are at 6.5. 9.5 for the Aggies.
I'm pretty high on them.
You are.
I don't know why. They lose their quarterback.
So they can lose 2 games and still go over. So they got Alabama. We'll give them a loss there. And then there's a bunch of just kind of toss-ups.
I want to see the
and
way
you're
it
saying
falls.
They can even get one more.
All right, Kent State's a win. Colorado's a win. New Mexico's a win. I'm looking for momentum. Arkansas's a win. So they're 4-0. Mississippi State 5-0. They're 5-0 going to Tuscaloosa, which means that game's going to be super high.
No, they got it in College Station.
Oh, that's right. Oh, jeez. Okay, but a loss.
But you're circling.
Yeah, because that's pretty damn doable right there. All right, so 5-1, and then here's where they catch a break. The week after Alabama, if you made them go to Oxford or you made them go to Auburn or to
But they get Missouri, Carolina, and an off week.
They get 2 wins and a break.
Yeah,
then they get Auburn.
They get 2 really weird games after that with Auburn and Ole Miss.
They get Auburn at home, which is probably a win. They go to Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is in the middle of a wild swing at that point.
Who knows what the Rebels look like then?
Then they get Prairie View to catch their breath before they go to Baton Rouge. I love their schedule. I'll go over.
Yeah. So you're going 10-2 worst.
Yeah. I mean, that schedule's really favorable.
Mm-hmm. I know Stanford wasn't very good, but they're beating Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Guys.
Did you watch Vanderbilt?
Yeah, come on. I don't care. Your Wildcats and Northwestern 6.5, just for the hell of it. Phil Longo and his Tar Heels at 10. Indiana at 8. Mississippi State 5.5 for the Bulldogs.
All right, I'm not high on them. I know other people are.
This feels more like the real number than the FP whatever thing that keeps coming around.
Okay, see, here's what I don't like about their schedule.
You think they could lose the opener?
Well, Louisiana Tech won't be crappy. NC State won't be crappy.
No, Dave Doran's very solid.
Dave Doran is very good vanilla ice cream with no toppings.
Uh-huh. You can beat him, but you got to show up and do it.
But the ice cream's never terrible.
No.
So I was like, this is okay. It's vanilla. Sure could use some chocolate chips or something. You got any pie? Nope. But the ice cream's good.
Yeah.
Okay. At Memphis. Memphis has some talent.
And anything less than 3-0 and
you're screwed because here come the L's. LSU.
A&M,
Alabama. Boom, boom, boom. You beat Vanderbilt, but then you got Kentucky. You got to go to Fayetteville, and they're going to circle you. You got to go to Auburn, and Auburn's going to circle you.
I mean, I can get them to 6.
I can get them there,
Because it's Tennessee State,
it's Tech,
Vanderbilt,
NC
those
State,
3, and one more.
It's Tech, NC State, Memphis,
Kentucky or Ole Miss,
Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Tennessee State.
Yeah, that's right, Arkansas. Yeah, that's it.
But you're giving them a game in Fayetteville.
I know. Now you're not asking them to reinvent the wheel or anything.
No,
though. It's pretty.
But
basic.
it's November in Fayetteville.
Yeah,
and they'll have you circled.
Yeah. That's a no-go. It's 5 or 6. I have no interest.
Yeah, Vegas knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm
it's
good.
A perfect line.
I'm
You're going to get action on both sides of that.
Tennessee at 6.
New coach.
Sure.
A lot of defections. Did bring some people in.
Starting 3-0 if they can beat the Pitt Panthers.
Yeah, Bowling Green, Pitt, Tennessee Tech to open the season. At Florida, feels like an L.
They're going to win 2 at the end of the year, too.
At Mizzou, feels like an L. South Carolina at home, I'm going to give them a wins. I'm going to give them 1, 2, 3, 4.
This schedule's good.
They lose to Ole Miss. They lose to Alabama.
All they got to do is...
They get 2 at the end. What was the line? 6?
Yeah.
At worst, I'm pushing.
Yeah, I'm over.
And if I beat Kentucky...
All I got to do is beat 2 of Missouri, Kentucky, and South Carolina to go over. And I feel like I got gimmies everywhere else. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll push that at worst.
New coach, some enthusiasm.
Fine.
Yeah, sure.
I have no problem with the over there. Now, they're not good.
No.
I'll take it.
No.
Auburn at 7.
Again, new coach. So everybody's going to be kind of excited. Something new after being tired of Gus. Let's pull up their schedule. Let's see. All right, they get Akron week 1. That's a W. That's 1. Alabama State's 2. At Penn State, to me, is just a toss of tosses.
Yeah, I think they lose, though, in Happy Valley.
I tend to agree. They beat Georgia State. That's 3. Probably lose to LSU. Lose to Georgia. My gut is they beat Arkansas, they beat Mississippi State,
and they beat Carolina.
So
I'm over because I get a push there. I'll go over with Auburn that they go 8-4, and I can push at 7-5.
Yeah. So my win-loss toss thing that I do pretty well. Let's see, 1, 2, 2 and a toss because I think Penn State's a toss. 3 and a toss. 3 and 2 tosses. 3, 1 and 2 tosses. 4, 1 and 2 tosses. 4, 1 and 3 tosses. 4, 2 and 3 tosses. Mississippi State's a win or a loss?
I'll give them a win.
Okay, so that's 5 with 3 tosses.
And Carolina's 6.
6, yeah.
Yeah,
Alabama's a loss.
I can push that.
So that's 6 with 3 tosses?
Yeah.
And what was the number?
7.
Yeah, so I've given them 1.5 of the tosses, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Probably okay.
6.5 for Kentucky.
Go over. They're better than that. They're 7-5 program.
We kind of put them in the category now of just not sucking ever and being okay. Sort of what we're doing with Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of losses on here, but okay, sure. I mean, because I think they start 4-0. Well, if they start 4-0, all I got to do is beat potentially Louisville, New Mexico State, Vanderbilt State. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I think they're over.
As long as you think they're beating Missouri in week 2, they're over.
And I do. I do think they beat them.
And then Bama 11.5. I'm not going under.
I go over.
I'll leave it alone or go over.
Yeah.
I know it's dumb, but I think that's where I'm at.
Yep.
So
they're that good?
Yeah, sure.
They're better than everybody else from a talent standpoint. It's not even close.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, KJ Jefferson, the starting quarterback at Arkansas, I think. Right?
Yeah, I think so. They have another kid that they like, I think, but I can't remember.
Tennessee up 7-1 now in the 6th inning.
8-1.
That was 8-1 now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, there you go. All right. Ole Miss, Georgia, 1 o'clock. Obviously, coverage at rebelgrove.com because most of you people will be listening to this after that game has started or it is over. And then if they lose, they will head back to Oxford. They'll do some inter-squatting. The regional host sites will be announced on Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, and the entire field will be announced either 11 or 11:30 on Monday, Memorial Day. there on ESPNU or ESPN2, one or the other.
You still got your connections on the leaks?
They've dried up a little, but I think I'm okay. Yeah, I've always had a shot there, so we'll see. But I need a little bit of help.
Boy, that was one more biscuit for breakfast right there.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was kind of thinking. So, all right. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. Weather's pretty nice outside, so get out and get some vitamin D, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon.